Hey guys, I want to talk today about whether or not you can teach something that you don't practice or you can't practice for some reason. This conversation came up a while back in my Facebook group, and I wanted to bring it to our wider community here. So, there were sort of two different viewpoints that teachers were taking. One camp of teachers was saying, of course, you can teach things that you can't or don't practice because everybody's bodies are so different and your students will have very different experience in their body and in various shapes than you do. And it's very possible that some poses and practices will be accessible or good for your students that aren't for you. I find that to be completely true. On the flip side, there was a camp of teachers saying that how it doesn't make sense to try and teach something that I've never been able to experience in my own body and that I don't know how to cue effectively. To an extent, I also agree with that. I think what was happening is things were getting framed in this very black and white way, which is normal. That's sort of human nature. And what I wanted to do here is pop in and offer some more nuance. So I think there are actually a few more questions that need to be parsed out from the can you teach something that you don't practice conversation. One is, can you teach something that you don't know how to teach? To that, I would say no. But then the next question is being able to practice a pose the only way you can get information about how to teach it? And to that, I would also say no. It's very possible to understand the biomechanics and the movement patterns and the maybe common misalignments or common movement patterns that people inhabit for a certain practice or a certain pose, and understand, the physics of how it needs to get set up and how it makes sense and how to describe it and how to explain it, even if you can't or don't have that experience in your own body. It's important as a teacher, I think, to be able to understand and explain experiences that your students may be having that are very different from your own. So I think absolutely it's a necessity to be able to teach things that are different from your experience. So to that, if that's the point that we're taking, then I would say you can teach things that you don't practice as long as you understand how to teach them. So I think those are sort of separate questions. Can you teach something that you don't know how to teach? No. Can you teach something that you don't practice? Yes, maybe. Now, is being able to practice and play with something in your own body give you new insight and new ideas and new experiences and new language to talk about what you want to offer your students? Absolutely. But it's not the only way. So this comes with practice. I think this is not something that's going to be very accessible for a brand new teacher. I think it takes a lot of experience, first of all, in your own body, but observing other students' bodies and other people's bodies and how they move to be able to communicate effectively about the engagement patterns, about the actions that you want people to take, even if for some reason you don't need or want or are able to create those actions in your own body. So I would argue it's an important skill to be able to teach something that you don't or can't practice, but one that takes time to cultivate. So I hope that adds a little bit of nuance to the can you teach something you don't practice conversation. If you have other thoughts or other questions around this, I'd love for you to leave a comment below so we can continue the conversation there. All right, bye for now, guys.